Over the course of this summer's World Cup, Erling Haaland did not just tour the United States as a soccer player fulfilling a busy tournament schedule, he genuinely seemed to fall in love with specific corners of the country along the way. From cowboy boots in Texas to chanting crowds in Times Square, certain American cities left such a visible impression on him that fans started piecing together exactly where he seemed happiest during his 6 weeks in the country. In this video, we are going to walk through the specific places that clearly captured Haaland's attention during this tournament, break down what happened in each location, and explore why American fans have found this ongoing tour of the country so charming to follow. So, let us get into everything that unfolded. To understand why these individual city moments carried so much weight, you have to remember that Haaland was not exactly a stranger to America before this World Cup, but he was also far from a frequent visitor. Years earlier, on a podcast appearance alongside Logan Paul and KSI, a 23-year-old Haaland admitted that before that point, he had only visited the country twice, back in 2016 and 2022, and had only actually been to 2 specific places, Houston and Arizona. That relatively limited history with the United States makes his enthusiastic embrace of the country during this World Cup feel even more significant, transforming what could have been a routine international tournament into something closer to a genuine cross-country discovery tour, one that seemed to catch even Haaland himself somewhat by surprise. Before we get into the specific cities that left the biggest impression, take a second to hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed, because we are covering every corner of Haaland's American journey as it continues to unfold. It only takes a second, and it genuinely helps the channel. Alright, let us get into it. No city captured Haaland's imagination quite like Dallas, where Norway's victory led to one of the most talked about viral moments of his entire tournament. Following the win, Haaland made his way to Wild Bill's Western store, where he picked out multiple cowboy hats, customized with his own initials and jersey number, along with a pair of snakeskin boots to complete the look. His teammates could not resist teasing him throughout the shopping trip, joking about him drinking water while trying on his new gear, to which Haaland fired back that they only complained about his habits until he started scoring goals, at which point the criticism always seemed to disappear. He fully embraced the Texas persona for the moment, even wearing a shirt that read a cheeky message about kissing his Dallas, leaning completely into the local culture rather than treating it as a passing photo opportunity. That shopping trip alone generated enormous social media buzz, with fans sharing clips of Haaland proudly modeling his new Western wardrobe as one of the clearest signs yet of just how much he was embracing his time in the country. Beyond Texas, New York City also became a significant backdrop for Haaland's American experience, largely thanks to the traveling Norwegian supporters who brought their now iconic Viking road chant directly into the heart of Manhattan. Footage of Norway's fans performing their synchronized celebration in the middle of Times Square circulated widely, turning one of the most recognizable locations in the entire country into an unlikely stage for Norwegian football culture. That moment fit into a larger pattern the team embraced throughout the tournament, having even taken part in a promotional photo shoot dressed as Norse warriors beside a fjord before departing for the World Cup in the first place. Watching that same Viking energy translate directly into one of America's most famous public spaces gave fans a memorable visual representation of just how far Norway's supporters, and by extension Haaland's own growing fame, had traveled during this tournament. Fort Lauderdale also earned its place in this story, serving as the backdrop for one of the most widely quoted interviews Haaland gave throughout the entire tournament. Speaking to reporters there, he offered his now famous assessment of American fans directly, saying he liked Americans and found them kind of hilarious, adding that he simply liked the way they carried themselves. In that same conversation, he expanded on his broader feelings about the tournament experience as a whole, stating plainly that, honestly, every single thing about the World Cup being held in the United States had been amazing, from the games themselves to the stadiums hosting them. Those comments, delivered so casually and specifically in that Fort Lauderdale setting, ended up being repeated across countless articles and social media posts throughout the rest of the tournament, cementing the location as an important backdrop in the broader story of his growing affection for the country. Interestingly, Haaland's connection with American crowds actually began building before the World Cup itself even started, thanks to a Manchester City pre-season friendly against Moroccan club Wydad AC held in Philadelphia. During that match, his entrance onto the pitch became the loudest moment of the entire game, with fans from states as far away as New Hampshire, Colorado, and Michigan turning out specifically dressed in his jersey just to catch a glimpse of him play. That Philadelphia appearance offered an early preview of the fanfare that would eventually follow him throughout the actual World Cup months later, and it included one particularly memorable encounter when a journalist showed him a photo of a young fan nicknamed Baby Erling, a boy who had styled his own blonde hair in a bun just like Haaland's signature look, a moment that reportedly delighted the towering striker. Not every American city Haaland visited ended with pure celebration, and Miami became the setting for one of the more emotionally complicated stops on his tournament journey. It was there that Norway's World Cup run eventually came to an end, falling to a 2-1 defeat against England in a match played under brutally difficult heat conditions. Even with that heartbreaking result, Haaland's reflections afterward carried a tone of gratitude rather than bitterness, emphasizing the importance of enjoying every single moment because, as he put it himself, nothing lasts forever. That perspective, offered in the same city where his tournament technically ended, added an important layer of depth to his overall American story, proving that his appreciation for the country was not solely tied to victories and celebrations, but extended into how he chose to process disappointment as well. One additional moment worth revisiting took place in the build-up to Norway's stunning upset over Brazil, when a video captured Haaland tapping a young mascot on the shoulder to shake his hand before the match began, leading the delighted child to break into an excited smile while shouting his name. That small, spontaneous gesture became one of the more widely shared clips of the entire tournament, reinforcing the image of Haaland as someone genuinely present and engaged with the fans and moments surrounding him rather than simply moving through the motions of a demanding tournament schedule. Taken together, these individual city moments painted a picture of an athlete genuinely soaking in every part of his American experience rather than treating the tournament as simply a series of matches to get through. Fans repeatedly pointed to the authenticity of these moments as exactly what made them so shareable, noting that nothing about the Dallas shopping trip, the Fort Lauderdale interview, or the Times Square chanting felt staged or manufactured for publicity purposes. Instead, these appeared to be the natural byproducts of a player genuinely enjoying himself as he traveled from city to city, giving American fans an authentic, evolving travelogue of his summer that felt more like following a friend's vacation photos than tracking a professional athlete's media obligations. At the end of the day, this cross-country journey through cowboy hats in Dallas, Viking chants in Times Square, heartfelt reflections in Fort Lauderdale, early fanfare in Philadelphia, and bittersweet closure in Miami became one of the defining storylines of Haaland's entire World Cup summer. What started as a player with only 2 previous visits to the country transformed, over the course of 6 unforgettable weeks, into someone who seemed to genuinely fall for America city by city, leaving American fans with an authentic and thoroughly entertaining record of exactly where his journey took him. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you are subscribed so you catch our next video the moment it drops, because a summer this memorable deserves to be remembered in full.